Alright, so I'm trying to platinum every single Rockstar game that is on the PS5, and here's all of the ones I've completed so far. But if I can't finish the rest before the channel hits 900,000 subscribers, then I have to platinum Fortnite as my punishment. One of the hardest platinums ever. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, today I decided to platinum LA Noire, which is one of the more out of their games Rockstar has made in terms of it's not exactly related to a certain universe they have, like the Red Dead universe or the GTA universe. It's a game where you solve crime the entire time instead of cause crime. So it's actually kind of full circle on their part. But LA Noire released back in 2011 and has since gotten one remaster of sorts, making it playable on the PS5 today, at least mostly that is. The game is a total of 41 trophies for the platinum, but with the remaster they made a lot of the DLC trophies also a part of the game's list, and I got numerous of those throughout. It takes about 35 hours to finish, which is a bit more than the actual time frame, and this could be done in under 30 easily. Oh my god! Stage 1, however, is just beat the story while getting a 5-star rating on all cases, and there is even a 5-star rating guide out there to make that even more simple for us. But the game's intro just shows us the first job, with Cole, the character we play as, being a part of the patrol desk, which is like the lowest tier of cop in the chain of command. And spoiler, this game has us going higher and higher in the ranks as we solve cases so masterfully. But the first trophy of the game is from simply finishing the patrol desk, and there is in fact a trophy for each desk completion throughout the game as well. The patrol desk contained the least of any other desk, having only 4 cases inside of it, and only 2 of those actually had clues to be found, making them relevant in terms of trophies. This is because in addition to the getting 5 stars trophy, you also need to make sure you grab every single clue in the game for that trophy, or at least the majority. However, when going for a 5-star rating, you are required to get all of the clues anyway, so they kind of go hand in hand in a way. But every time you find all of the clues in a case, this little sound of the investigation music goes off, and it triggers a blissful release of completion and fluid from my body every single time. Anyways, the patrol desk is actually very boring compared to the other parts of this game, seeing as it's the grunt's work. But the final case being called Buyer Beware had us interrogate a man who Kanye West would probably love to chat with. It turned out he was the guilty party, so we just pinned it all on him, and if I have learned anything from this game, it's that when a cop has any sort of evidence on a person at all, they just throw it all on them in the sake of closing a case. I actually think half of the cases we close in this game we weren't even right about, which is kind of crazy. But our boss loved the job we did, so he decided to rip us from the patrol desk and promote us to the traffic desk, which sounds just as inferior. But here's the patrol desk trophy pop regardless. Cole then got briefed on his new job, and he was officially a part of the LAPD as a detective, being sent off on the first case immediately. And this case is one that I would actually end up replaying a ton because it's the fastest of the game, and a trophy later on has very much helped with that aspect of speed. But that's a future me problem. For now, I just got a trophy from inspecting the first clue of the day as an official detective and not just a good Samaritan. But this case revolved around an abandoned car filled with blood splashes everywhere. Some clues I found on the scene were in regards to a man's wallet, identifying the possible victim or suspect being named Adrian Black. There's a few other clues, but this is the main one that progresses the story. So then we headed off to the Black residence that we just got from his wallet, and we were greeted with a frail white woman. There's conflicting messages I'm receiving here. Anyways, she is the dude's wife, I suppose, and since he's now out of the picture for the moment, I decided to go do the man's work, and I fixed their water heater outside. In doing so without failing, because it's a puzzle that even a child could do, I got another trophy pop. But then we did begin to interrogate Mrs. Black here, and she was mostly truthful for the interrogation until things got personal, and we asked her about an affair that Adrian is having. Quick spoiler, this is what Adrian looks like. How the f is bro pulling 2 girls at once when I can't even get one? What kind of game does he have? Son of a bitch. Anyways, Mrs. Black was sad about the affair, so she lied about it, and then we showed her some proof of it, which also popped me a trophy for backing up an accusation that we made against the suspect. After interrogating her, however, she mentioned that Adrian loves to go to bars and goes to a specific one called Kavanagh's Bar. So we headed there and interrogated his friend, who was also day drinking. It's my guy right there. But his name is Frank, and he basically just lied straight to our faces the entire time, which made the interrogation go by very fast, and he ratted out that Adrian is hiding out in his apartment. The blood in his car was from a pig, and this whole ordeal was an effort of Adrian faking his death to go bang some other girl shamelessly instead of just divorcing his wife. What a Chad move. But upon arriving at the apartment, Adrian hit the dash and we had to chase him. Low key, he cooked our asses, but thankfully our partner grabbed the whip around the building in godlike speeds and we caught him. The case then closed and I got 3 trophies for doing it so perfectly. One from answering every question correct, another for finding every clue as an LAPD detective, and finally from completing a story case with a 5-star 5-star rating. I'm feeling like a slut with that many trophies just popping into me, or my ex-girlfriend. That's crazy. However, sadly, that splurge of trophies kind of generalized the random trophies we would get, and I went about an hour without any more. By the way, for some reference in how long the cases are in this game, they all vary from between 30 minutes to an hour, so it's definitely not quick for any of them by any means. But before jumping to the next trophy like we do, I did run into the iconic man from LA Noire who gives off the absolute best, most horrible facial expressions ever. I fucking love this guy. I was laughing my ass off looking at him. But this case had a man getting ran over by a car as the supposed cause of death. So we were trying to track down who did that, obviously, and eventually the coroner would come up with the actual cause of death being from stab wounds. And on the first sweep of clues, you can find the bloody knife literally sitting right next to the crime scene, and it's a trophy from finding that first try. But side note, this game's criminals are like low-key fucking retarded. They just leave clues everywhere. It's insane. I also got this trophy from stopping a car with a pit quickly in a chase, although it's not a part of the main trophy list, so that's kind of sad, and I am now depressed. The next trophy I got was also not a part of the main list, and I got about 20 trophies in this game that were all DLC. In fact, I got 99% completion by the end of my time today. I could have very easily, got 100%, but I just wanted to make people mad. However, this next trophy was just from answering some stuck-up woman's questions correctly because she allegedly has complex facial expressions, and I already can't read women, so that made it even more challenging. This case I'm getting all of these DLC trophies on, by the way, was a DLC case, which would explain it, but they are required to be played for the platinum. It's very odd now that I think about it, how this game chose to organize trophies on the remaster edition. You know what I mean? Because you're required to play the DLC cases, but the DLC cases have trophies that aren't needed for the platinum, but you still need to find every clue in them, and yeah, it's very confusing, and I already don't know what's happening 99% of the time. But I got another trophy here from dropping a car engine on someone and having it explode them into a burn victim, which was pretty fun. Again, though, it was DLC. And I also uncovered this racing bet crime circle where people were alleging bets and cheating, which was another trophy, but still DLC. And I don't even know what this gold trophy was from, but I got it, so that's cool. Don't we just love DLC that's needed but not needed but still needed? Yeah, okay. Anyway, sorry for that splurge of DLC trophies I just mentioned, but we finally got back to the normal cases and had one relating to some Hollywood producer taking advantage of young girls and crashing cars off the side of cliffs, so just a normal day in Hollywood. But during the interview with this stuck-up actress who probably snorts ketamine off of Squidward's titties for fun, we got our first chance at using intuition points in the game and do it 4 times in one interview. An intuition point, by the way, is just a method of shaving off an option in the question or seeing what the majority of the community answered with to try and narrow it down. But I got a trophy from using them 4 times in one interrogation and getting them all right, which was cool. And the next trophy I got was then from us tailing her to see what more she knows because she basically just lies straight to our faces like a female would. And I got a trophy from tailing her without her ever seeing us. This was also the last case in the traffic desk, by the way, which was quite fun and had a ton of combat on it actually. We got to do a massive fight in this replica of a movie set and it was overall a good time. Lots of people did die though, which made it better in my opinion. Am I desensitized? Yes, 100%. I platinum GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 in the same month. Of course I'm insane. But upon finishing this case, I got the traffic desk trophy and we got promoted to homicide cases. And during the first case on homicide, which has more cases relating to homicide, I know, a shocker, I got this dude to give up the license plate of our first suspect and it was a trophy for being a fucking genius. And then I got another trophy a while later when a suspect tried to flee by tackling him. The little voice in my head was telling me to just pull my gun out and shoot his ass, but I fended him off because one homicide is enough at a time. However, I am sad to report that trophy was actually the last one I would get for about 10 more hours of gameplay. And I know what you're probably not saying, but thinking, wow, that's a long time. And you'd be right, that is a long time. But this is because my game's save file would end up corrupting on me out of nowhere and the cloud save feature was not saving for some reason. Upon seeing this, I was destroyed inside because I had poured about 7 hours of my playtime into this game at this point, and I had also never once seen the PS5 allow such a thing to happen. Outraged? Yes. Disappointed? Yes. Frustrated? Yes. I went through the 28 stages of grief in about 10 minutes and then I smashed my controller into my desk. In doing so, I found out that the new desk I got isn't that structurally sound and now there's a massive fucking hole in it. But the controller fits great and still works, so yeah, I'm gonna have to get a new desk at some point. Fuck my life. Anyways, yes, I did have to completely restart my entire playthrough up to this point, and it was extraordinarily boring. The only real aspect of fun this game has, in my opinion, is when you don't know who did it or how the cases are going to play out. I think this game actually might have the lowest replayability out of any game I've ever played. But I am also very biased, seeing as the day of progress got ripped from me. However, the first trophy I would get, literally a day later, was from reaching max rank in the game. Yes, I replayed that much of it. I got max rank before any new story trophies. That's insane. But I also got another trophy after it, about an hour later, from driving a total of 5 different cars in the game. Again, still not really new territory. However, finally, another hour after that, I would reach a new story trophy from finishing the Homicide desk. Should have done this 8 hours faster, but it is what it is, and we live with it, damn it. But the Homicide desk ended off with a bang, and we chased some dude through the sewers as he was shooting a shotgun at us and nearly killing us with each and every step. We also found his kill lair, and it looks straight out of Dexter. If you know, you know. But here's that trophy, and we then got promoted to Vice, which is yet again another division of the LAPD detective force. But on the first case of Vice, my partner ended up shooting out a suspect's vehicle that we were chasing who was trying to flee, and that ended up being another trophy. I would then get 4 DLC trophies after. First, from entering a shootout the back way and engaging in a flank, as the wankers call it. I then got 1 from finding a secret weed stash, and this DLC case is also about weed, which is dope. I then solved this coin puzzle, which I may or may not know what each coin is. The American education system has failed me as a child. But once I finished the weed case, I got a gold trophy, so it's whatever. Back to the normal story now. I also got into a fist fight, which we did do a multitude of times in the story. But there's a trophy from not having your hat fall off during a fist fight. And my best advice to get this is just spam X, which is punch. Because if they don't hit you at all, the hat has no chance of falling off, and the blocking is a bit meh at times. I also got another DLC trophy during this case from finding a bunch of drugs this model used, who was very pretty and now dead, hence the trophy name. I would then get another DLC trophy a bit after from finding this rich person's handbag. The trophy selection in this game is very questionable, I can't lie. But I also shot and killed 100 total bad guys in the game a bit after that, and I'd do it again. I love killing people and getting real trophies for doing so. But aside from killing people, I got a trophy from being a good Uber driver and not crashing at all when chauffeuring this person. It was sadly not a main game trophy, however. But I would end up finishing this DLC case finally and getting 1 more DLC trophy from shooting the signs letters off, then from the case itself. I would then begin a main story case again, and I got a new story trophy from talking to this dude we were in the war with into giving up the other people involved in the current case. I also got 30 headshots right after when in more conflict for a trophy because my aim is just that good. And that ended up being the final Vice case on the Vice desk, so here's that trophy as well. Sorry I'm breezing through these, by the way, but I totally just lost interest when I had to replay the entire game. I'm not sorry. But the next trophy I got was actually a main game trophy for once, and it was from firing a warning shot when a suspect is fleeing. Now this does not mean just firing and missing, but rather aiming at them and waiting for the circle to fill up to initiate this little cutscene ending thing. The next trophy I got was then the second to last trophy of the main game, actually, and it was from outwitting this dude named Leland Monroe, who is the game's main villain behind a lot of bad things, into discussing his plans pretty much. I would then get both the all 5 stars trophy and the all clues trophy after, once I finished the next case, and it's very odd because this is the quote-unquote final case of the game. However, it's not the ending of the game, and there was still 1 more mission to wrap it all up. Which I guess does kind of make sense in general terms because the final part of this game didn't really have us solving any cases per se, rather just running around the sewers to save a German baddie, which is crazy considering this game is set in the 1940s. You'd think a little more animosity would be in the air still from recent events, but who am I to say anything? Anyways, during this last part, I did get a trophy from using every gun in the game, which was nice to not miss. And then once the game did end with the main character we were playing as dying like usual, I got the trophy from finishing the Arson deck, but who cares? We get to play as him in free roam anyway, so it's just confusing. But now it's time for stage 2, which is like a cleanup of everything basically, because the trophy guide creator generalized the shit out of the trophy guide, so it's not my fault for there being like no direction, okay? However, the first thing I chased after were these street crimes. There's a total of 40 of them in the game, and you get trophies for doing your first of them, 20 of them, and then all of them. Street crimes are just simple, usually 2-minute long events, by the way. I also got a trophy from driving over 80 miles per hour for more than 10 seconds during those, which was on complete accident. But with those street crimes finished, I moved on to the next objective within the 100% checklist, being to find every location. There's only 30 of them, by the way, and you can do this very fast by just looking at the collectible map and then having your partner drive to them, so you're basically just fast traveling 30 times and the trophy popped easily. I also did another collectible from finding every golden film reel around the map, Shout out to Video Guides for this one, giving the assist here, and that is a trophy. But then I began a bit more of a grindy trophy from driving every car in the game for the Auto Fanatic trophy, which some people claim is super RNG and hard, but I didn't really find it to be hard. Both because I was following a guide on some cars and just using the method the guide said you should. I got almost all of them on my first or second try of spawning them in. Once driving 40 of them though, you do get a trophy, and then once you drive all of the cars in the game, you get the one we were really after. I did have to go do a few DLC collectibles after this, however, which sucked, but once finding them all, it gave me 100% for that main story trophy pop. Only 3 trophies remained at this point, and I chose to get the easiest of them done with in my opinion. You have to rack up over $47,000 of penalties in a case, which can be done easily on the first traffic case called the driver's seat. And by just getting one of the hidden cars and then crashing it over and over because they are expensive, you can get the amount we were after very fast. And I did this way too long though because I was making sure I wouldn't have to redo it. So I ended up with over $100,000 of penalties, and it's safe to say Cole's job is fucking gone. But then I just had to clean up a trophy I missed on a case earlier from trailing this one bitch without being seen, so I did, and here it is. My final trophy was then from driving a total of 194.7 miles. I'm not sure why that many miles in specificity, but this isn't hard to do and you just drive. Shout out to Ryan Gosling. So here it is eventually with the Platinum Trophy pop added on. That was the LA Noire Platinum Trophy experience, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like this one, both because of the save corruption, which put a bad taste in my mouth like no other, but also because the game just isn't my vibe. I'm more of a high action all the time kind of guy, and this game is like the opposite of that, so yeah, it's not that deep. I just don't like it, and that's my opinion. Rating it out of 10, I'll say a solid 6, and yeah, see you later.